We've talked a lot about keys, how to figure out which black keys a certain scale might have, whether it's going to sound happy or sad. That's pretty much all we need in terms of starting to listen to popular sounds and playing them on the keyboard. We're going to take an example and work our way into making it sound really rich and full, lots of sound. So an earworm that I currently have is the popular song Despacito by Luis Fonsi. So if I'm going to do this by ear, again, I don't have perfect pitch, I don't remember exactly what key it starts on, I'm just going to go with what's in my head, and honestly that's very powerful to be able to hum on any key and just figure it out, because you don't want to have to be stuck relying on, oh my goodness, I only know how to play in D major. You know what? It doesn't really matter. All the scales are pretty much the same. Yeah, they're shaped differently. Later on when we start talking about technique, I almost prefer playing the scale of B major than C major because it fits so nicely under the fingers, right? All the white keys, it's easy to get mixed up. Okay, so that popular earworm that's in my head here, that's my tonal center. I can just feel it. That's where the song wants to go to all the time. Okay, so the tonal center happens to be C, but I was humming it sounds very sad, so it's C minor. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, minor keys steal their sharps, their flats from the major, so I've got to figure out the actual major scale I'm in because C is the relative of it. So C is the sixth note of which major scale? I'm going to figure it out on white keys first. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, I'm going to use the formula and see if I land on a C, starting on E. So E major. Skip, skip, no skip, skip, skip. So I'm going to end up landing on a C sharp if I do it this way. If I start on E, I land on a C sharp. Remember what we talked about with music? If you're shifting one thing, if I want to shift this down because I want a regular C, then I need to shift everything down. So if I go from here to here, E to C sharp, then I'm going to shift them both down. That means I'm going to be in this key. And is it going to be a D sharp or an E flat? Actually, an easy way to find that out is if I'm saying the letter D, how many letters do I have to say to get up to a C? Well, let's see. D, E, F, G, A, B, C. I'd have to say 7. And minor keys are the 6th degree of the major scale. So I can't call it a D, thank goodness, because D sharp major would actually be a nightmare. E flat major is a lot easier to work with. Okay, let's figure out what other black keys we have here. Skip, skip, step, skip, skip. Perfect, I land on a C. Skip, and then step. So I end up having flats, meaning I'm not going to call these sharps. When you're in a scale with flats in it, they all have flats. So I can't call this G sharp, I'm going to call it A flat. I'm going to call this B flat, and my E's are flat because I'm in E flat major. Okay, so I've got these three flats to deal with, and I figured out that the Despacito is in a minor key, and I happen to choose C minor. We can look at some other examples where we can transpose this to different keys, and it'll pretty much sound the same. Okay, so I'm in C minor. Let me figure out the scale. C, D. I'm not going to play E because my E's are flat. Then I've got F, G. We said that A's are flat, and we said that B's are flat, and then we finish with C. Very similar to C major, just a little bit of shifting there with some of these keys. We add 3 block keys. C minor and C major, just as a tidbit, they're not relatives, they're called tonic major and minor, and there's really no relation other than they start on the same key. Relative major and minors are literally identical scales, just starting on different positions. So make sure that you understand the difference between tonic major and minor and relative. Relative is what's important for our purposes, because we really want to know what major scale is the home scale of that minor key if we're playing in a minor key. All right, so I remember start on the 3rd note of this scale, 3rd degree. Shouldn't call it a note because a note is what's written on the actual music. 1, 2, 3, 4, go down to 4th. Okay, so I've got the first part of the melody. Despacito. Perfect, okay. Cool, so I've got the main part of the melody. I'm just going to add a little bit more, and now we're going to talk about the different levels of harmonizing our melody. Two, three, four. One more up. So notice I'm not even looking at the keys. We want to focus on the ear. It's really good to develop the ear in such a way that you're just following what sounds good. Once you get that under your belt, music starts to become a lot easier.